Hi, Mr. LaBelle. This is Stephanie. Um, and just want to say thank you. I'm going to read you some of my poetry, and then maybe if there's time, a poem I found that I thought you would enjoy. I wanted to also tell you one thing that I remember from a long time ago. Um, was I was telling you about this argument I was having with a boy in another class. And you told me you can't cure one vice with another vice. And that I found that so significant at the time that I wrote it down in this journal that I hadn't even really written anything in yet. And that journal was actually the first journal that I started writing poetry in. And so 20 years later, I still write poetry. And as I've gotten older these last couple years, I have said I need to share these words with other people. So I wanted to say thank you for helping me and helping other people find their voice, and also giving me a really good piece of advice, among other things. Pulling me from that ravine was pretty dang good too. So in any case, here's a few poems, and I hope you enjoy them. So this one's called History Lessons by Carr. Long drives until you call to me. Look up at the green geometry of the roadside. Beside us was the impetuous landing, the cardinal sin of history mounded with earth. Zephyrs were slower, so my hair billowed, expanding weightless, weaving in and out like the dusky trails of a 4th of July sky. Directional messages above me named entries in my childhood encyclopedia. Punctuated by the breathing landscapes of methane and rainwater, we exhaled all the scales and smoke inside whatever organ system knows the White Stripes and the Ramones. Our tires lapsed the American ground at a pace to remember. So that's the first one. And I'm a little slow on the computering here, so you have to forgive me with that. Trying to scroll down and it's not working too well. It would be easier if this was printed, but it is not. It keeps flooding the computer, so there's probably moments where you can't see me. That's because I'm a novice at so many things. So anyway, so there's nothing more humbling than computer problems, I think. So this one is untitled. What does it mean that I keep thinking of the ocean? The light coming through the trees is just as you remember it when you left. It seemed that change was rounding the corner and fleeing was the only thing you could do. Now gleaming, each structure fielded between the water and our memories hinders our vision of copper-like fish that flit the way a stockinged leg does on the dance floor. So, I have another one I was going to read, but I think I'm going to read this one first, though, because this one is kind of about my son, and you haven't met him, but he's pretty awesome. But I think after having I've taught now for about 10 years at the college level, so in some sense, this is about students too. So it's called When You're Born. Sprout the particulate storm where you would be scientist. See the sky's ash, unrecognizable worlds, and sense a bright star, luminescent in its tragedy. Don't cry. Just cradle chemical charts and homebound bugs. Before you comfort the dying sun, breathe all the sulfur you can, and remember it burns blue. Sweetness, young one, is candles burning within your wishes, within a bulb above your head, within this bulb planted in your capably small hands. So that's some of mine. And I have one in here I wanted to read too. I'm running out of time. I've got 4 seconds. So sorry this is long. This is called Autumn Evening in the Mountains. It's not mine. After the rain that covered these mountains, the night air smells of fall. The moon gleams among long-needled pines. Rushing softly across its rocks, the creek glitters. Bringing their laundry home through the bamboos, women chatter. A fisherman pulls his boat through the heavy lotus leaves swaying. The spring flowers and their heavy odors are gone. Stick around anyway, old friend, for the beauty of fall. Love you, Mr. LaBelle.